What's up, guys? Dane Davis here. Shout out to Boogie Bentley, Dauber, and the Indie Kid over at Talkin VAWLS Network on YouTube. Vols fans, head over to their YouTube channel, Talkin VAWLS Network. Smash that like button and subscribe, baby. Go Big Orange.
Just look around. You got the mountains. You got the most beautiful city in the whole entire country. The university is absolutely, looks like it's out of a storybook. It's just beautiful. People are incredibly genuine and extremely nice. It's just a place that obviously I'd want my kids to go to school. And it sells itself. You don't have to sell anything about this place. You just got to get them here. You know, the old field of dreams. Yeah. Build it and they will come. It's already built.
And we got a lot of dudes, man. I mean, a lot of RLDs, real live dudes that are flying around, and we should wreck shop.
As far as being here, man, this is why I came to Tennessee is why recruits want to come here too. This is one of the great iconic traditions in college football. The brand and the logo is as strong as anywhere in the country. You know, you look at it, top 10 in the history of college football in wins, top 10 in the history of college football first-round draft picks. The ability to chase and win championships, anything you can and want to do has been done here before. And they can see that we're on that trajectory again. And I think they believe in the culture that's been built, who and what we're about as a coaching staff, our consistency, the ability to be real with our players. And that's when things are going great and when they're not. And just excited about what we were able to do here with this group of individuals.
Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a past the doctor. I got a 6 cents for imposters, so now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game, why you playing with me? You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break the chains. Can't control me. I got the power, I got the keys, cause I break the chains. They try to hold me.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley.
I'm Dauber.
And I'm the Indie Kid.
This is our early signing day recap. Man, it feels like Justin Williams put the pen to paper. Seems like a lifetime ago. Seems like it was 6 weeks ago. Feels like the longest day of all time. But we're going to recap early signing day. We may talk a little bit about the Music City Bowl. We've got some fan questions we are going to get to. So a lot to unpack tonight. Maybe a long show. I hope you will stay with us. Let's see who is hanging out in the chat. Short Fuse is here. He's going to church. Take me to church, Short Fuse. But he will be back. Who else we got in the house? Todd Cox is here. IC86 in the house says it's the most wonderful time of the year. Bakar Bakar Beard in the house. Walter Nolan just commit. He didn't sign yet. Yeah, we were talking about that before we went live, and then I see somebody else in the chat saying that Walter Nolan did sign. I don't think that's the case. He's pushing it off till February. Pro Wrestling Guru in the house. I wore this shirt just for you, my friend. I hope you enjoy it. He also says 10 wins next year. Book it. Terry Reed in the house. Guys, come on in. Hit that like button. Get it out of the way bright and early. Let's just jump right in. Let's dive right into early signing day. Tennessee finished up Rivals top 10. If you look across the board, pretty much consensus top 15, no matter where you look. You know, and Austin Price kind of talked about today when he was kind of going over it and said it's all about how you close. And he said not just today, not just in the final hours, but over the last few weeks. And when you look at the guys that Tennessee added over these last few weeks, that's really when they picked up steam, picked up momentum. But if you told us just 10 months ago that Josh Heupel was going to win 7 football games and he was going to pull a top 10 to 15 recruiting class, Indie Kid, I think we would have all signed up and we would have taken it. without a question.
Absolutely. Great day. A great finish today. Just a side note, Nolan did sign. He signed at 4:00 today, so he's off the board. But, it started with Justin Williams. Kind of did not know what we were getting coming into the day. I guess that's another topic we'll talk about today later. But, yes, absolutely. Back to, before I keep getting off topic, 7 wins. Top 15, top 10 recruiting class. Excellent job. And, we've talked about it. Did we think they could get to a top 25 or top 20? And we thought that would be doing good. But they finished strong. Great day, great finish. Now it's portal time. It's got to be there is a lot of excitement around this program right now. And I think the trajectory, sky's the limit right now.
What's crazy is the time scale, how quickly things have turned around. The mess that Heupel and staff came into, in his presser, he talked about it. 10.5 months. Said it multiple times to put this recruiting class together. And, like you alluded to, Boogie, these last couple of weeks, that's when they've been doing their work. He talked about the relationships, and that's what matters. Talking about changing the culture, and when they first got in the door, introducing themselves to these kids, they really had nothing to go on. But you talk about 7 wins, the trajectory of the program, the way things look right now, it's exciting. It's an exciting time in Knoxville. It's an exciting time for this program. And that's part of, I think, what ended up with a pretty solid class and finishing up. And like Indy Kid said, now it's portal time. Now you address some of those needs and you look for guys that can come in and make an immediate impact.
Something I like today that Josh Heupel said in his press conference was Brent Hubbs brought up NIL and how you have to go about recruiting kids. And he basically doubled down, man, and he talked about culture and family atmosphere, and basically he sold himself as this is who I'm always going to be, and that's going to be important. NIL deals are going to come. That's still part of it, and he's all for that. And I think it was Hubbs that later said, or might have been Austin Price, basically said there's 2 different roads you can go down. There are coaches like a Lane Kiffin, right, that's going to complain about NIL when – Lane, do you want to talk about Zach Evans? Do you want to tell me why he's coming to your school? You don't think every coach in the country is utilizing NIL, but you can go 2 routes. You can complain about it, or you can find a way to capitalize on it. And it's the same with the transfer portal. But I like that Josh Heupel, in the age of NIL, in the year 2021, when college football is changing, Josh Heupel doubles down on family and culture and building relationships, because any kid, that's the foundation of recruiting. No matter what changes, the foundation is relationships.
It is. That's what's going to boil down to, because if you've got a snake oil salesman, a liar, and I hope that, I think a lot of times that maybe recruits and families do not see through it because they're in the living room selling their program, selling what it is. But, I think I get where Kiffin's coming from on it. I think there are some schools out there selling NIL that it's going to be interesting to see if they back it up or not. I kind of get where he's coming from and agree with him, but there's no use complaining about it because it's here. It is what it is. And like you said, Heupel embraced it, but just those relationships, just those building, they closed strong. I think there was a message there that really resonated with recruits, and that's still what it's going to boil down to. It's going to boil down to it with recruits, because let's face it, you've got basically multiple recruiting seasons now, because you've got your high school JUCO window, you've got your portal window as well, but the message has got to be the same. No matter, this high school JUCO window is really where you're building your foundation, and then you're going big time shopping when you go to the portal. That's your instant impact guys. But, this foundation This is what your program's built on. No matter how many people are in the portal, this high school JUCO window, that's majority of your team. That's where you're building it. So yeah, you've got to, it helps. There were results, and he mentioned it about how they really didn't have proof other than from Central Florida. Now they can show their own highlights. Now they have backed it up, and they've built that window. They've talked about how they've already been building for 23 and 24. Those relationships are going to be big. And what I think is impressive about today, getting to a top 10 on Rivals, top 15 on 24/7, I'm not sure on ESPN. I think it's consensus top 15. They hardly got anybody in state. They hardly got anybody in state. Imagine if they start bringing the best of the best in state to go along with what they're doing out of state.
Did you listen to Heupel's press conference today by chance?
I did not. I read quotes of it,
Okay,
and I saw about the 23-24 and things he said on it.
Yeah, because he addressed the state of Tennessee, and I think it's almost kind of funny. He basically threw the previous staff under the bus because that's the reality of the situation, right? They came into the game late, and he said, it was almost harder in-state because those in-state kids heard more about what was going on with Jeremy Pruitt and the investigation. And, he talked about building those relationships moving into 23 and 24. But we talk about putting up the walls, and that's something that, I want to do a video on moving forward, is those in-state guys for 23. And they have to do better, Dauber, that you have to win your state. I like seeing Tennessee go into Georgia and pull some talent, or like James Pierce, who signed late today. I like, going and getting some guys out of North Carolina, but you got to win your state. So
absolutely, that's always been important in a state that isn't as talent rich as Florida or Texas or California. You've got to get the best of the best to stay home. Otherwise, somebody else is going to come get them, and you're going to be playing against them.
Let me hit these couple of super chats real quick. We appreciate the support. Mr. Bubbalo for $2. Thank you, sir. Good evening, y'all. It's good day to be a Vol. Yeah, every day. Every day is a good day to be a Vol. But I enjoy hanging out with 375 of our closest friends. 375 of our closest friends. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on early signing day. If you enjoy what we do, if you enjoy the content, hit that thumbs up. We got 114 likes. Let's get it way over 200 so I can shut up, leave it alone, and we won't have to come back to it. Joel Certain for 10. Thank you for the super chat. Says couldn't care less about Walter signing with A&M, even though said he would wait till February. Don't have room for divas when building a championship team. Love this staff and our direction. Go Vols. Dauber, what did I say to you? Right before Indy Kid came in. What is the exact word I used?
Almost word for word, diva.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, listening to Heupel's press conference and, him talking about the relationships and the culture, to me, if you've got a kid – now, granted, these are young kids, and they're being talked to and swayed by adults, by their family, by their friends. But if NIL is a priority for them, that's to me, that's kind of a red flag. That's somebody that you may not want to look as hard at. But I mean, we've seen it the whole time with Nolan flip flopping and get me 10,000 likes and this and that. He's just pandering to the audience, and I mean, we'll see how it all plays out for him at A&M. You got people that are with NIL starting to chase the money. It's the same thing as you got kids signing with Alabama or Ohio State that will never step foot on the field that are chasing rings.
Well, how about the kid, the number one recruit in the nation? Did he not sign with or did he sign? I never saw if he officially signed with Dion or not.
I don't know if he signed. He flipped though.
Yeah,
Flipped his commitment.
Yeah, I don't know if he's signed or not either, but it is a weird time for college football. Some people fear that it's going to ruin college football because it's all about money and NIL deals. There's a super chat I want to get to talking about that as well. Joe Bird for $1.49 super sticker. Thank you for that. It's a salt shaker. I don't know what that's pertaining to, but we appreciate the tip in the tip jar. Nate Turner for $2 says thoughts on Cade Mays last night talking about NIL. Anybody that doesn't know what he's talking about, Cade Mays has been the mainstay on Tennessee Prime, which is it's a Jason Swain, VolQuest joint show at Gus's Fried Chicken, and it's an NIL deal type of thing. And, you know, we all thought Cade was going to the NFL. Everybody thought he was going to the NFL. And now here lately it's kind of been like, well, it's not necessarily set in stone. Last night he laid it out. He said, I need an NIL deal. I need an NIL deal that's going to put a bunch of money in my pocket. Otherwise, I am going to the NFL. What do you – go ahead.
I was just going to say he laid it out a little bit more. He said he's 50-50, and it had to be third or fourth round money.
That's a pretty fat NIL deal.
Yeah. It's the lay of the land now. It is what it is. If you want to compete with the big boys, you want your guys to stay, you got to pay them. So I don't know what kind of NIL is out there that will pay that kind of money, because that's third or fourth round money is going to be pretty good.
But is Cade Mays projecting to be a third or fourth round pick? I thought it was later than that.
I have not seen his grade, but I mean, honestly, I've kind of wondered if he's even in a top 7 round. I don't think he did a lot to increase his stock this year. I mean, he stayed hurt for a lot of the year, I felt like. And I don't think he played his ideal position. Maybe he liked playing there. I don't think that's where his future lies at tackle. I don't know that he would be a third or fourth round guy. I can't see it. I'm thinking late, at best, probably late rounds. I mean, obviously, I hope he does good when he goes, but I don't know. I'm not seeing it, and I haven't seen it in any projections that I've looked at either. I haven't seen his name on any boards.
I think, like you said, he could really boost his stock by coming back and being able to play guard. But is he going to be able to play guard? I mean, you know, that's not guaranteed. You don't know that he's going to be able to. You can hope that, but I don't know that that's guaranteed. I
mean, not with everybody coming back. I mean, you got to think they're probably going to stick with their guns with all 5 coming back.
If
he were to come back.
Right, yeah, all 5 would be coming back. You would think it would be the same lineup left to right. Cord Lowman for 5. Thank you for the super chat. Doesn't have anything to say, just a tip in the old tip jar. We appreciate that. It just feels like a big old thank you when you have nothing to say and just put money in our pocket. Terry DeFord, thank you for becoming a member of the channel. Terry, you now have access to custom Talkin VAWLS emojis. Also, if we do fan call-in shows, you will be one of the first that has the link to come on and hang out with us. If you want to be a member of the channel, just hit that join button. It's right beside subscribe. If you're on an iPhone, you got to go to your internet browser. Once you join, you can go back to the app. It's $1.99, or if you want to pay a little bit more, you can do that. It's a thank you. It's like an automatic super chat every month, but also you get some custom Talkin VAWLS emojis, and like I said, access to come on the show. James Moody, $50. That ain't cheap. Indie Kid, that ain't cheap. $50 ain't cheap. That is a big time super chat. And James has nothing to say. He just says, "This is a thank you for all the work that you guys do all season long." James, we appreciate you. That's big time, man. That ain't cheap.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. All you guys, thank you.
Means a lot. We appreciate it,
Very
James.
humbling.
Dakota Fair Cloth for 2. Thank you for the super chat. 11-1 coming soon, folks.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Big Orange. Let me jump over. Go ahead, Dauber. And then I got a fan question, but go ahead. You go ahead, and then we'll hit a fan question.
Before we jump off of NIL, I was going to see if did you guys see the Texas deal? A nonprofit group of alum have come together to form the Pancake Foundation, and they are giving $50,000 to every lineman on the team. I think it's capped at $800,000, which is what 15 linemen. So what I read was there's actually, they're looking to see how legit this is, and there's got to be some reins and some. It can't become just a free for all, because that is really going to. Yeah, Matthew Sims. What I read was $50K per year per lineman. So, and that's just the one deal. You can have multiple NIL deals. It's crazy stuff. But I really think the NCAA is going to have a handle on this, because you start talking about these, powerhouse schools with boosters that have deep pockets, and you're basically, just essentially handing money out. I know there's certain stipulations, and there has to be a return on the investment made and all that, but it's still just there's a lot of blurred lines with this right now because it's so new.
I was hoping.
I think it's a risky proposition because these guys have never played a down of college football, and even my wife mentioned today she caught when they're posting pictures of these signees on Instagram. She's like, "Man, these guys got to hit the weight room when they get there." So if she's catching that, that's obviously a thing. Even with Texas A&M, I would love to know what Texas A&M is offering, because they've had a ridiculous recruiting class. I heard I happened to be watching Feinbaum yesterday, and they had one of 24/7 guys, Brandon Marcello, and he talked about how for A&M this is possibly a generational class for them this year. They just underachieved again under Jimbo Fisher. They had a pretty good year last year, I think top 5, but it's supposed to be a good year this year. I really feel they underachieved again with him. Mm-hmm. So what's being offered? And I wonder too, when Kiffin or some of these others are referring to these schools, hoping they back up what they're offering. I really think A&M's at the forefront of that.
We got a lot of super chats piling up. I'm going to catch those, but while we're still talking about NIL, I wanted to ask you guys if you saw this. This is Vol Shop on Twitter.
Yep.
These were the hats that a lot of the guys that committed today had on, and this is a pretty smart deal, man. Pre-order your official University of Tennessee signee cap now. A portion of the proceeds will go directly to the signees as part of a group NIL deal, and I believe I saw that these hats are actually sold out. But
wow,
it's all pre-order. I clicked on the link and it just says sold out. They need to fix that, because that Vol Shop.
So you can still order it.
Yeah, Vol Shop replied down below.
Of course, Dauber's gonna get. I like the letters. Of course, we talked before about what those letters mean to us. And that's why that intro video, I love that intro video, because those letters are special to me and my first memories of Neyland Stadium. So I love the fact that that's what that reminds me of when I see that hat. But that's a smart move, man. That's a smart move. That's a way, because I don't even know what the rules are. People ask me the rules, and I'm like, I really don't know what the rules are as far as NIL and paying incoming recruits, because I thought you weren't supposed to do that. But this is a way to pay incoming recruits. Right there, you see it.
I thought there was some kind of a fine line too, but it really doesn't seem like it. I just wonder if
it's blurred. It's blurred lines.
Yeah, if I run into recruit A down the road, can I just go write him $1 million check?
Right.
Is it that easy? I don't know. It's it's very blurred. If I'm not mistaken, I've read, and I don't know how much validity there is to it, that there's already some teams being investigated over this.
Yeah.
A&M's one of them.
A&M, Florida, I believe Ohio State, and there was one other.
But does it
pretty
really matter?
Obvious Florida wasn't offering much money today.
I love seeing them suffer, man. Tennessee has got to turn the tide there. They have to capitalize and take advantage, because Florida's going to struggle next year. Tennessee has to take advantage of that. Let me make a quick plug. 500 people watching live right now. The University of Tennessee is live right now. They have 827 people watching. We have 500. Let's beat the University of Tennessee. Let's show what the fan presence means. This show is for the fans, by the fans. A fan opinion. We value what you guys say as much as what we say. Share out the link. Let's grow this thing. Let's get more viewers in here than the University of Tennessee has live right now. Let's do it. Can you guys help us do that? If we can get more live viewers, I'm going to say it. I'm going to give away more free merchandise if we get more live viewers before the University of Tennessee goes off air. So share out that link, hit that thumbs up. Let's get weird. Let's get weird.
I was offering last night. I said, if we hit 200 viewers on basketball, I said, I'll out of my own pocket give away a hat. We didn't get there, but
hey, man, I'll give away all kinds of stuff. It helps build the channel. This is your show as much as it is ours. We were laughing the other day. We had our yearly Come to Jesus meeting. That's where the Talkin VAWLS business meeting. It's once a year. And we were laughing, and I said, yeah, I paid money out of my pocket to send merchandise because I give too much away. Let's get caught up on Super Chats. You guys are being very, very generous tonight. Like Indy Kid said, it's humbling. We appreciate it. Preston Frills for $5. Thank you for the Super Chat. How is it not against the rules that a company that Dion works for in Barstool can give a kid a multi-million-dollar deal to go play for him? You're right, Preston. It's like Indy Kid said. Why? I think all's fair in love and war at this point. I think you can do whatever you want to do. Blitz 621 for $5. Thank you for the Super Chat. Says James Pierce and Tyree West, game changers. Dauber, we were talking right before we went live. I think these are kids that want to come in and they want to work under Rodney Garner. I told you off air, off record, I think Walter Nolan's scared of Rodney Garner.
Hey, it's the Garner effect is real. How many times have we seen it go the opposite way?
Over and over and over.
How many times has he closed on guys that we thought for sure were going to be in Knoxville, and they ended up at Auburn? He's a man, and you'd be crazy not to come play for him if you had aspirations to play on Sundays.
You got to have that work ethic. I think Walter Nolan was scared of Rodney Garner. John Hill for $5. Thank you for the Super Chat. Says, thanks for all the videos, keeping us informed. You're welcome, John. Thank you guys for watching them. We appreciate it. It was a busy day, but it was worth it. Glad you guys enjoyed the content. Craig J for $5. Thank you for the Super Chat. Just showing love. Well, thank you, Craig. We appreciate that. Andrew Bowers becomes a member of the channel, now has access to the custom Talkin VAWLS emojis. If you're a member of the channel, you know what to do. Blow up the live chat with those custom Talkin VAWLS emojis. Cody Silvers for $20. That ain't cheap. That's like 2 cups of coffee at Starbucks. That's how not cheap that is. Thank you, Cody. We appreciate it. The staff is definitely dedicated to doing it right, getting players to fit the culture. No point in getting divas like Nolan who don't put in the work. Teammates challenge each other to be better and compete. That's spot on, man. I think that sums up Walter Nolan. And it was another thing that I liked about Josh Heupel in his press conference. They asked him how you handle playing time in the age of the transfer portal, where if a guy's not getting playing time, they're going to check out and they can go elsewhere. And a lot of times it's about playing time. And he said, I think you have to be honest. He said, I sit down and I talk about earning playing time. And he said, I love this. This is negative recruiting against every team in the country. He said, I think if you walk into a living room and you sit down and you promise playing time, you're a liar. And they should immediately realize, what did you promise the guys that are already there? What are you promising the guys in the class after me? He said, I think you just have to be honest. Josh Heupel's a genius. Every time he's in front of a microphone, he's recruiting. And he is saying and doing the right things every single time. Derek Rogers for 20. Big time Super Chat. You guys, very generous tonight. We appreciate it. Derek says, Merry Christmas, guys. Love what y'all do to keep us informed. Love everything y'all do. Go Vols. Derek, thank you for the very, very generous Super Chat. We appreciate it.
Wow.
Joel Certain with $100. $100. Indy Kid, that ain't cheap. You know what I have to say about that $100 Super Chat?
Oh, what a night, man.
This is what I think about it. I'll even do it twice. I'll even
absolutely.
do it twice. I'll even do it twice. Joel, very, very, very generous. That is not cheap. We appreciate it, sis. To be great in today's college football, you need a dynamic quarterback. Bama, Clemson, Ohio State do well because they have dynamic playmaker behind center and playmakers around them. A&M doesn't, in my opinion. They will continue to disappoint. Hooker gonna be great next year. Let's pause on this. A lot of super chats coming in. We appreciate it. Keep them coming. We will hit every single one of them. Joel just spent $100. $100! That ain't cheap. So we're going to talk about the quarterback position. Tavin Jackson, how important is he for the future of Tennessee football? But on the flip side, something we have not talked about on a live stream, that is the biggest recruit for 2022, and that is Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker announces he is coming back. I think it was in a tweet, article, maybe it was in a media appearance. He talked about walking off the field, and he just looked at Josh Heupel and said, "Yeah, I'm coming back. Let's go to Atlanta." I love it, man. I love it. How important, Indy Kid, is the quarterback position in college football in 2021? You can overcome a lot of obstacles or shortcomings if you got the right guy under center.
Look at the last 6 years of Tennessee football, going from Hooker back to Josh Dobbs and that in between. That ought to answer your question in regards to Tennessee. They had basically 4 years of just awful quarterback play. This year, you really had a game and about a quarter, maybe a game and a half of subpar quarterback play this year. It cost them one win. I still fully believe, but once he took over, Hooker took over big time, man. And he's going in through spring practice, barring that he goes to the bowl game, non-injured, nothing that needs to have surgery, anything off season. He's got a full spring practice as the guy. He's got a full fall camp as the guy. I really feel Cedric Tillman's coming back too, based on his wording. And it's huge because that is a known commodity. You cannot win games without that quarterback play. Yeah, you're going to be stuck in that trying to get bowl eligible range. Expectations are going to be higher next year. It's a favorable schedule. And it starts with Hooker. Now, what do you surround him with? Looks like most, if not all, your lines coming back, running backs. That offense is still, you're losing Velus Jones, big loss. You're losing Peyton, which is a loss. Pretty much everybody else is going to be back, and I feel confident Tillman's going to be back. You've got the offense around him for next year. Questions going to shift, what's the defense? But I've got to think the defense is going to be improved too. I think we're gosh, this is one I'm having trouble finding the words because I really feel at this point, if this coach and this program is not the answer, I don't know who is. I think things are lining up nicely, and other teams are getting better too. But here's one thing: Georgia's going to sign their classes, Alabama's going to sign them, but every good class Tennessee signs, they're still gaining on those guys.
Let's Dauber, I want to continue to talk about the quarterback position. Indy Kid kind of talked about Hendon Hooker and the offense in general, but how important is it that a guy like Tavin Jackson can come in, a guy with a ton of talent, a guy that's won 2 state championships, a guy that's a competitor. He's done it at a high level. He knows what it takes. Josh Heupel talked a little bit about that today in his press conference. How important is it that he can come in as a true freshman and learn under Hendon Hooker? And this is something we've talked about before too. The age of the transfer portal, the perfect situation is to have a guy that's a senior and a guy that's a freshman and get that next guy ready.
Oh, it's amazing. And Heupel talked about it in his presser today. Talking about they came in this morning and started calling 23 and 24 kids. They're already on it. He said, that's what you've got to do. You're always looking for the next person. You're developing. And this is the perfect opportunity for Jackson to come in and have that year to get in the program, develop, adjust to college life, adjust to the speed of the game. And frankly, if you look at Hooker and the way he performed this year, man, Jackson can take notes after note after note and see how he was successful. I saw a couple things this week that have Hooker listed on a short list of Heisman frontrunners for next year. And who talked about that before the season was over?
You heard it here first.
Exactly. So it's the perfect situation for Jackson to come in, learn, grow, develop, be mentored. And I mean, let's face it, guys. Your head coach played the position. The things we've seen this year from Heupel and the rest of the offensive staff, the scheming, all of that, it's exciting. And to be able to come in and learn the system before you're thrown into it, it's going to work out well because it sets up the team not just for next year, but the future of the program.
Man, did you all catch how many guys? There's actually going to be numerous guys going through bowl practice.
Yeah,
signed today.
Absolutely.
I mean, it sounds
huge.
like majority of this class is early enrollee.
He said
that's going to be big, man.
I want to say that they signed 20 guys, and I think he said at least half of them would be early enrollees, and then there would be a few that would be able to. Well, what's his name was there Monday?
Jordan Phillips.
Yeah, Jordan Phillips. Justin Williams is one of them.
Tyree West. Tyree West is going to.
That's right. That's the ones.
Here's one more thing that I want. One more point that I want to make that Heupel talked about when he was talking about the family atmosphere and the consistency in the message that they're putting forth, and that when the kids come in to be on their recruitment trips, that they see it not just from the staff, but they see it from the other players. And he was talking about the caliber of kids in this class. Out of the 20 guys, he said there were 10 of them that were captains of their high school team.
It's huge.
And multiple guys won the state championships, state titles. So, that's big time. You're not just recruiting the player, but you're recruiting a person as well. And I think we've seen that time and time again with Heupel. I think he's worried not just about these kids as athletes, but these kids as people. Evident in the eulogy that he gave for the former Central Florida player that was killed. It is so exciting. Today's just kind of a culmination of coming off the year, getting some good guys, and you just see the trajectory of the program.
It was the big question mark.
Yeah.
We saw it on the field. We saw the results on the field. I think everybody's happy with that, but there was still that big question mark hanging over your head. It's like, can he recruit? I think he has shown that he can, and I think the class of 23, the class of 24 is really going to be where we learn how well he can actually recruit. Something funny that I like talking about the bowl practice Indy kid was, Jordan Phillips, he's already there, right? He's already going through practice. And Tyler Barron was on Tennessee Prime last night, and they were kind of joking around about Jordan Phillips, and they were like, he's getting baptism by fire. He's learning real quick what Coach Garner is all about, and Coach Garner ain't laying off. He's giving it to him hot and heavy. I would love to be a fly on the wall watching this poor high school kid go through a college football practice with Rodney Garner. Let me get caught up on Super Chats. We got 513 people watching live right now. Lucas Sharp in the chat said, we got more likes. We got more thumbs up. than the official University of Tennessee page, but they've got almost 1,000 people watching. We get to 1,000 people, I'm going to give away all kinds of stuff, guys. Share out the link. Hit the thumbs up if you hadn't already. We would greatly appreciate it. You guys being very generous. We're going to keep going. We're going to typically we do an hour. We're going to keep rocking and rolling as long as you guys are interacting and hanging out with us. Robert 45 Tennessee for 10. Thank you for the super chat. I'm not sure, but I think I may be wrong, but I think I saw a rule you could not talk about the NIL to entice recruits to come to their school. I think that's something along those lines, but there's no way that's accurate. You know that's happening all over the country. It's just, it is. Steve Schwartz for 5. Thank you for the super sticker. I can't see what it is, but I appreciate the tip in the tip jar and the super sticker. Joseph for 5. Thank you for the super chat. Am I the only one who thinks they should move Joe Milton to H-back or some other position to get his athleticism on the field? A lot of people say that. I just don't see it. I don't see it. And I think this coaching staff is going to go into the portal and try to find a quarterback. And I know you talk about Joe Milton and people get upset. They get mad. Joe Milton's going to be crucial that he comes back. Tennessee needs a backup quarterback behind Hendon Hooker.
With experience.
Yeah, and
Tavin Jackson. Yeah, I think Jackson's being brought in to develop for a year or more.
Yes,
you know,
he does
people
not
are
need to be
saying
the
make
backup.
him the backup. I don't agree.
No,
Yeah, I'm with you. Let him develop.
James Moody for 5. Come on, guys, support these Talkin VAWLS and those guys who didn't believe this staff could recruit. Own it. Send a super chat. Indicate, is that your secret account? Is James Moody your secret account? Asking people to send super chats.
Yeah,
maybe it's your wife. It's your wife in the next room saying. Thank you, James, for the super chat. I appreciate the $5 to tell other people to send more money. We appreciate that. Wayne Starnes for 5. This is for that cheap $5 half cup coffee at Starbucks. Starbucks ain't cheap. Thank you for the super chat, Wayne. We appreciate it. Your shirt is on the way. I think it's shipped out. I believe it's shipped out, so you should be getting that soon. Cord Loman for 5. Thank you for the super chat. I'm a student at Virginia Tech, but I grew up as a diehard Tennessee fan. Still am. Got to say, I'm so happy Tennessee got Hendon Hooker. I was hoping to see their tight end. You know, there's a lot of speculation that he could enter the portal, but he ended up declaring for the draft. Blitz 621 for 5. Addison Nichols will surprise folks. Smart and athletic.
Good pickup. Yep.
And again, if Cade Mays comes back and you return all 5 on the offensive line, huge to let a guy like Addison Nichols develop and get better. Lambin Reviews for $20. That ain't cheap to insult us, but that's fine. Will Boogie, Indicate, and Dauber get NIL deals from Talkin VAWLS thongs? Or will they hit the YouTube transfer portal? Well, I'll tell you what, if guys like Jonathan Rice keep throwing $100 super chats at us, guys like Joel Surton keep throwing $100 super chats at us, guys like James Moody keep throwing $50 super chats at us, we're not going anywhere. We are dialed in for life. Actually, you know what? We did this for about 3 years and didn't make any money. So we're not going anywhere. Adam Smith, thank you for becoming a member of the channel. We appreciate that. You guys know what to do. Throw those custom Talkin VAWLS emojis in the chat. Show them what's up. Show them what you get for $1.99 a month. Jonathan Rice, $100 super chat. Dauber, that ain't cheap.
Not at all.
That ain't cheap.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man, and I'm saying, woo, right here.
Indy Kid, you know what I think about the listeners of this show? You know what I think they are? If you could come up with 3 little letters, Indy Kid,
Yep.
3 little letters to describe our chat, what would you think that'd be?
RLD.
And we got a lot of dudes, man. I mean, a lot of RLDs, real live dudes.
Got a lot of real live dudes in this chat. Jonathan Rice for $100. Absolutely mind-blowing, very humbling. Thank you. What do you say when somebody says, here's $100? I don't know what else to say besides thank you. He says, Merry Christmas, Ball Brothers. Love the recruiting class we got, especially given the circumstances. I have a feeling that these weapons in this class are going to change the game. Justin Williams, Dylan Sampson, and especially Squirrel White, Tyreek Hill, go Big Orange. That's $100. When you spend $100, Jonathan, when you give us $100, we're going to spend some time and we're going to talk about what you had to say. Indy Kid, when we go back to the old NCAA days, what was the number one thing that you focused on in recruiting?
Speed, and then more speed.
This was a very interesting post on VolQuest. It was the current roster, and they also blended in the incoming recruits' fastest 100-meter times. A lot of track guys in the class of 22. Fastest guy on the team, 100-meter speed time. Jalen Hyatt, 10.45. Who's right behind him? Dylan Sampson, incoming running back in the class of 22, 10.62. Who's right behind him? Incoming wide receiver that Jason Swain says he's a 3-star on paper, but he is a 5-star when it comes to route running. Squirrel White, 10.68. You got a couple of other guys in here, Deshaun Rucker, Jalen Wright, Jimmy Callaway, who's right behind those guys at 10.9. Caleb Webb, a guy that runs a 10.900 meters with his size.
Man.
Unbelievable. You've also got Charles Nimrod at 11.2 in the 100 meters. Indy Kid, talk about the speed of these running backs and wide receivers coming into play for Josh Heupel.
It hasn't been I don't think it's really been focused on, but one thing that, I think a lot of these guys, when they initially committed, it was just kind of, though is another 3-star, but the more it went on, man, these guys were pretty highly thought of, and I know at the end, especially when Squirrel White, it got a little interesting with Georgia coming into the mix, and I know at that point people did not want to lose him. Dylan Sampson is one. He's been committed for a long time, and I feel he really fell under the radar. Just was kind of there. People's like, well, he's fast, and then he got that bump to a 4. Justin Williams as well. But one thing I would say on this staff, and I think it made a big difference down the stretch, is they really, and we'll see when these guys get to the field. But if you look at where these guys were ranked when they started recruiting them versus where they were down the stretch, this staff did a phenomenal job of evaluating. And they had to. They had to be on it. They had to be pinpoint with it. Williams was a 3-star and committed to West Virginia. Now he's a 4. Sampson was a 3. I think Squirrel is still a 3. It wouldn't surprise me. I don't know if they've done their final bump yet, but I think based on who was after him, I would not be surprised to see him get another one. But Caleb Webb committed to East Carolina for the longest time, 3-star, and then all of a sudden, they really wanted him, and it shows that those evaluations were spot on. And I did not realize his speed was. I know he's 6'2", 6'3", depending on. I think it's 6'2" or so.
Seen
but
everything
that
from
speed,
6'2" to 6'4". It's all over the place.
Yeah, but you factor that speed in, man. They've added some. That it's going to fit perfect in this offense. We saw what speed could do this year in it, and you're adding more to it now. Excellent job of evaluating by this staff. A+ in their evaluations this year.
Yeah, spot on. Hard to add anything to that, but you talk about growing up as a Tennessee fan. The late 80s, the early 90s. What was Tennessee known as?
Wide receiver U,
WRU. Baby. Yep.
So guys like Willie Gault, Carl Pick, guys that ran track, guys that were burners. So it's exciting, especially knowing and after having a year seeing what Josh Heupel wants to do. Try to run, 90 to 100 plays offensively in a game. Lining up on the ball, running 3 plays in a minute. We've seen guys running wide open. And some of those were not even the Jalen Heights and the speedsters that we've got.
It's the Cedric Tillmans.
Cedric Tillmans, yeah.
So you talk about getting guys that come in that are exceptional route runners or guys with that kind of blazing speed. The possibilities that adds to this offense that is already trying to run hyper speed to get the defense reeling and on their heels. Man, it's a nightmare for a defensive coordinator.
That's what excites me about Squirrel White, is because not only does he have the speed, but when a guy like Jason Swain, a guy that has played the wide receiver position in college football, I think he knows a little bit more about route running than the three of us, and he is complimenting Squirrel White for his route running and calling him a 5-star route runner. You got a guy with speed that runs that type of route. What do you think Josh Heupel's going to do with him? It's huge. Huge. Let me continue to get caught up on Super Chats. Like I said, guys, we still got some fan questions over from the Facebook group. We're going to get to those. We're going to stay with you guys all night long. We're going to do this like Lionel Richie all night long. Trevor Maffetone for 5. Thank you for the Super Chat. If the Vols can get some boys at wide receiver, get top 15D, watch out that elite offenses beat elite defenses. Watch out Kirby Smart, the 90s coming back. Yeah, I mean, I think we just kind of spent a lot of time talking about that. This wide receiver class is absolutely huge. For FF's sake, $20. Nothing to say. Just walks up, slaps $20 down on the table, and walks away. Thank you for that Super Chat. Very generous. We appreciate it. Fallout
we
Zone
didn't
says,
even just kind of, and we didn't even mention Cameron Miller.
No.
Either.
He's a guy that's kind of got lost in the shuffle because he's been committed for so long.
Yeah. I mean, he's your, him and Herring? Is it?
Yeah. I think Herring was the first commit.
He was the first, and I think he's going to be a nice pickup for them, and that could lead. I really feel confident that's going to lead to getting his brother, who's the number 1 player in the state for 23. I'd be surprised if Tennessee doesn't get him as well. But yeah, I mean, solid wide receiver class, and I really believe some of these guys are going to probably make contributions early, especially with them getting some of them going through bowl practice and getting to go through spring practice and fall practice. They're going to be, full speed come fall practice and not just getting used to it. It's going to be big.
Donald Lawson becomes a member of the channel. Thank you, Donald. We appreciate it. You got access to those custom Talkin VAWLS emojis, as always. If you're a member of the channel, drop them in the chat. Show Donald what he's out. Show him what he's won. Lambin Reviews for 5. Thank you for Super Chat. Any kid, when I stir the pot on the Talkin VAWLS, any kid's not on Facebook, so he doesn't see Lambin Reviews, who pisses everybody in that Facebook group off. They want him to be banned. They want him to be removed. Meanwhile, I just sit back and laugh because he's a lot of fun on there. But he says, when I stir the pot, should I stir to the left or to the right, Indy Kid?
Right down the middle.
Right down the middle.
Lead no doubt. Hit them all. If you're good, don't do it halfway. Do it all the way.
Joel Certain for 10. Thank you for the Super Chat. Here's another $10 to help Dauber get a blue snowball. Good mics matter. I don't want to hear about microphones because mine was a train wreck last week and you guys didn't say a word. So you can't fuss at Dauber. Mine was a disaster last week. Absolute disaster. I hope it's better this week. Nobody's complaining, so it must be better. But thank you, Joel, for the Super Chat.
I thought I had the kinks worked out of mine. I guess not.
I think it sounds great tonight.
Okay.
I don't know what he's talking about. I think it sounds good tonight. Ethan Cole, Vols by 50 for 2. Thank you for Super Chat. What up, fellas? Running behind. Big day for the Vols. Thank you for the Super Chat, my friend. Lamar X Israel for 10. Here's a super sticker. I can't see it on StreamYard, unfortunately, but thank you, Lamar, for the support. We appreciate it. Bubba Legon, member of the channel. Drop those custom Talkin VAWLS emojis. Let's get crazy. James Moody for $200. $200.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man, and I'm saying, woo, right here.
That is a gigantic Super Chat.
I believe that takes the cake. That's a
I don't
new
think
record.
I don't think we've ever had a $200 Super Chat. That's insanity.
Thank
Never.
you.
It is super humbling.
Yes.
Everybody in the chat laughs because we're like, it gets weird and I don't know what to say. That's $200.
Thank you.
Like, thank you.
It's insane. It's very humbling.
We appreciate it,
Three
James.
jokers from East Tennessee to be talking football and
just a bunch of idiots,
wow.
man. Just
yeah, that's it. The Three
Thank
Stooges of Tennessee. So.
that have 526 people watching live. we're halfway there. We're halfway to passing the University of Tennessee talking about National Signing Day. 3 idiots. One of them's wearing a freaking Arn Anderson shirt. And there's 500 people watching, throwing $200 at us. Thank you, James. Wow. Thank you. We appreciate it. I can just go ahead and say this. James is the man. I'm going to do it again. Because James is the man.
To be the man, you got to beat the man. And I'm saying, woo, right here.
James is the man. If you want to beat it, you got to top $200. Thank you once again, James. He says, okay, boys, last one tonight, but I have truly appreciated all your efforts this season. I have enjoyed it. Please tell me if anyone can confirm, is Gerald Mincey going to wear the orange? Because nothing tastes better than Gator tears. I feel good about it. It was a weird situation, man. Kid commits, says he's 1,000% committed to Tennessee. Come to find out he doesn't even have an offer. Austin Price came back a little bit later on and said there was like a 3% chance that Tennessee wouldn't offer him. So I feel pretty good about it. You guys agree? I think Mincey's a Vol.
Yeah, I believe so too. It'd be hard to turn somebody like him away, considering where we are on the line. I mean, you know, a lot of questions. We've talked about it a little earlier in the show, but yeah, it'd be another good pickup.
Does it seem to you, Boogie and Dauber, maybe you followed it too with Mincey, does it seem to you like he's being brought in more for depth other than to contribute immediately? Because from what I'm gathering, a lot of the people are saying he won't be – they wouldn't expect him to come – even if Cade Mays leaves, they don't necessarily expect him to be the plug-in starter. So is this just a guy with plenty of time left that's a developing, and he'll be ready maybe next year?
That's the way I see it.
Kind of what you're getting from it?
Because what's he got? I think he's got 3 years of eligibility, I believe it is.
I couldn't remember if he had 3 or 4 on it. It's probably 3.
3 or 4. Well, I could have mixed it up with COVID year too. But the thing about him is, like, a lot of people are like, oh, here we go, 3-star U, guy that didn't start for Florida. That's a dude that was recruited by Florida, a guy that has SEC experience, a guy that's got grown man strength. Like the scouting reports you read talk about how strong he is, and he just needs to develop. Well, I feel like Ellerby's done a great job developing this offensive line. They need more depth. It is what it is. You can talk about their struggles and the number of sacks they gave up or whatever. You can say whatever you want to say, but the bottom line is they didn't have the depth. They were beat up and banged up all year. It seemed like if Cooper got healthy, Cade went out. They were just constantly beat up, and a guy like Mincey adds depth, but also some potential for the future to develop. So that's what I think. I think he's a future guy.
Well, I think you start seeing Jeremiah Crawford emerge at the end of the year. His PFF grade was 89 against Vanderbilt. That was the highest on the team, and that's a very, very good grade to grade out. Dane Davis got plenty of action. I mean, he's still got a few years left. Pretty impressive, what's going on with him. William Parker, I've seen him mentioned as well for depth. I mean, they added some nice players today as well. I like Maurice Clipper. I really like him. I've seen a little bit. I didn't get to read about Reddick out of Michigan. Pretty high on him. They're slowly building this line. And, of course, Jerome Carvin has committed to coming back. That's a big deal as well. They're getting there. So I think, like you guys said, very, very important, though, to add to it as well. Definitely do not need to just be content with what they've got. I mean, because you can't really rely on a freshman to come in and you don't want to anyway. Let's put it that way. So I think this is a guy who's been in an SEC strength and conditioning program. Worst case, if he's got 3 or 4 years, whichever it is, be a solid backup now and then develop into that starter maybe next year.
Yeah, but barring injury or necessity, you want your freshman lineman to be bulking up and, playing a little bit of mop-up duty, getting some, occasional minutes on the field, but not making, sustained amount of time on the field because you're going to be hurting, especially in the SEC.
Yep.
Let me go back here. I'm trying to get back where I was on Super Chats. Here we go. John Robert Tolkerteen for 5. Thank you for the Super Chat. Excited. The direction of the program is going. Me and my wife are going to the bowl game on the 30th. The Purdue basketball game stings was there too.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
See, I don't even know what he's talking about, but I can tell you that we have the best basketball coverage in all of Tennessee athletics. Tune in for these guys. You guys are going live Saturday? I feel like I know the schedule at least. I know when to create the streams. Saturday, immediately following the game. Make sure you guys tune in to that. Also, Bronny James talking about Tennessee basketball. Go back, check out Indie Kids' video on that if you have not done so yet. Robert, 45 Tennessee for 5. Did anyone know that the NIL in Tennessee isn't even legally in effect yet? It does not even go into effect until January 1st, 2022. That can't be right because Swain and VolQuest are paying Cade Mays and friends to come on and do Tennessee Prime. That can't be right.
We have donated to Cameo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, players are making money on Cameo, so that can't be right. That can't be right. Regardless, thank you for the Super Chat, Robert. We appreciate it. Lyle House for 5. Thank you for the Super Chat. Nothing to say, just a tip in the tip jar. That is just as appreciated as everything else. Bubba Lagon for 5. Tennessee football is finally back. Thank you, Bubba, for the Super Chat. We appreciate it. Anna Krez for 2. Predictions on bowl game. Final score. Go Vols. We'll get more in-depth with that right before the game, the Wednesday before the game, but we can throw out some early predictions. I think Tennessee rolls. Purdue without their top offensive player, top defensive player, I think Tennessee's going to put a beating on them. I think they're going to jump on them quick and not look back.
Missouri-esque beating.
Yeah,
That's what I'm expecting.
I'm down with that. Missouri, South Carolina type of beatdown. What do you think, Dauber?
Historically, look at these bowl games where we've played teams out of that conference. What have they ended up being?
Absolute beatdowns.
Yeah. So
I think Purdue got destroyed the last time they played it by Auburn. I think Auburn put like 60 on them. So
I mean, we had teams in the SEC reeling because of the speed. It's something that you don't really see a whole lot. It was quite a unique game when Tennessee played Ole Miss because, it was just lightning quick offensively up and down the field. It's going to take them by surprise. They think they might be ready for it, but it'll have them on their heels.
Todd Hurley for 2. Thank you for the Super Chat. Todd says, late to the show. My brother's looking good. Go Big Orange. You know what that means, Todd? I'm going to put you on blast. Todd, I love you, man. And you gave us $2. You're here. You're here every week. Every week you're here. But today you roll in late. You roll in. It's what time is it? It's 8:02. The official Tennessee football page went off air about 2 minutes ago. Todd comes rolling in. Welcome to the show, Todd. I'm just kidding, buddy. We appreciate the Super Chat. Hey, let's grow this chat. The Tennessee YouTube channel is shut down. They're done. They're finished. Share this thing out. Blast it on Twitter. Blast it on Facebook. Yeah, Todd knows what's up. Look at him. He's like, oh, I have been busted. I gave you $2 to try to make you guys feel better. Hey, share this thing out on Twitter. Put it on Facebook. Let's grow this chat. We'll go all night long. We're not like the official page of the Tennessee Volunteers. We'll stay on all night long like Donkey Kong. Let's get into some fan questions over on the Facebook page, the Talkin VAWLS Facebook page. If you're not a member, if you're on Facebook, search Talkin VAWLS under groups. It'll pop up. Brennan Crandall wants to know which 2022 signee has the best chance of making an immediate impact. And I'm going to go first only for the reason that I don't want you guys to steal mine. And the guy that I'm going with is Desmond Williams, defensive back. I think he was a 3-star. I believe he was a 3-star. But the reason I'm going with Desmond Williams is, number one, great athlete. He's defensive back, played corner, played a little safety in high school. But Josh Heupel talked about him for his ability on special teams, his ability to return kickoffs, to return punts. I could see him making an impact in the special team games. But also you got to look at Tennessee's got to find a way to replace some corners. They need some help at the cornerback position. Desmond Williams had 7 interceptions for the junior college that he played at. So, you know, he's experienced. He's got that competitive edge. I think he's a guy that can come in and make an impact right out of the gate. If not on defense, then special teams. You guys in the chat throwing your names out there. Tyree West popping up. Dauber, who do you got? Who do you see in this class of 22 that could make an immediate impact?
I think West. I think that's kind of a cop-out, easy answer. But you look at that kid's tape. If he can come in and hang in the SEC as a freshman, there's opportunity for impact right there. You know, Pierce may be another one with what we've got already on the edge. If you can put somebody on the other side, you talk about having to offensively, you can't necessarily take one person out when you've got somebody coming on both sides. So that's a opportunity for, you know, emergence for James Pierce to come in and really, you know, stack the ends and bring some chaos and pressure on the quarterbacks.
And I don't think any kid's going to say this name, but, you know, that's something Josh.
Don't say it. I know who you're going to say. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
It's something Josh Heupel talked about today, too, is being able to bring pressure off of both edges.
Mm-hmm.
And James Pierce, along with Joshua Josephs, kind of gives you that opportunity, whether that's this upcoming season or just in the future, you know, moving forward. That's 2 big-time edge guys that have a presence and they are known for getting pressure on the quarterback. Any kid, who do you have in the class of 22 that's going to make an immediate impact? That's what makes the question tough. Immediate impact.
This one might surprise a little bit where I'm going to go, but you mentioned needing help in the secondary. This dude's dad was a bad dude in the NFL. Christian Harrison. I think he's going to make an immediate impact. I'm not sure about when he enrolls. I don't know if it's early. I'm thinking he's an early enrollee as well.
Where do you see him playing?
Corner. Yeah, he's listed as a corner, and he's got the size of a corner. Obviously, you know, knowing his pedigree, he could probably switch to safety as well. But, I
think safety is one of those spots that, you know, we had some okay times, but I think it was lacking a little bit this year. You know, you had games that guys played well, but for the most part, it was kind of questionable.
I think they'll hit the portal for safety. But it'll be interesting with some guys like Christian Charles.
Yep, that's the name I was thinking.
He had gotten hurt, and, you know, he started and then got hurt. I don't think Flowers is coming back. I may be wrong on that because he went through the T on senior day. He can come back. I don't know that he will. But, you know, you mentioned about corner, and we're going to see. I think Harrison has an opportunity. I think Haddon and I think Turnage will be big factors last year. I'm not sold on Burrell. I'm just not. And he has these moments, but I think that his position is there for the taking. And I think Harrison, some of you guys in chat, thank you for confirming Harrison is an early enrollee guy. I think he'll make a difference next year. I'm excited about him, and he's another good case of another very good evaluation. Committed to Liberty for a long time, and then Florida come in. I mean, they were battling Florida until the coaching change on it. Good.
That's something that goes a long way, and I know you talked about it earlier in the show, but it deserves to be mentioned again, is the evaluation, right? The evaluation process. That people that get so wrapped up in stars, and the 3 of us are guilty of it too. Everybody's guilty of it. You get excited when you see that 5-star or 4-star. It's just the reality of the situation. evaluation and player development is the most important thing. That's it. That's the most important. And the class of 22 was so weird because so many guys, didn't participate in their junior year of college. They didn't get a camp. There's so many reasons why these evaluations are all over the place. And it's why if you go to On3, which is the new recruiting website, I like it because you click one button and it pops up ESPN versus Rivals versus 24/7. It breaks everything down. But going back to, the point you made earlier, Indy Kid, was the fact that we are seeing – I'm laughing because I see something in the chat I want to talk about. We are seeing a lot of these kids in the class of 22 get bumped, right? They're getting bumped over and over and over. And that goes a long way with me having confidence in player evaluation by this staff. I got to hit this comment because I want to make a point. John Bell in the house. What's up, John? Trinity Bell, he want all that smoke. How about Trinity Bell getting moved over to the defensive line this week at bowl practice? I've been excited about Trinity Bell, and it's not just because John is a part of this show. He's a member of the channel. He's here every time we go live. That does excite me. I'm glad John's here. But Trinity is an athletic dude, man, and I was excited to see what he could do once he got healthy, once he recovered from the knee surgery, about what he could do at tight end. But Tennessee has a lot of talent at tight end. So moving him over to the defensive line, I'm excited. I hope John will talk about that in the chat. I hope you guys can see that if Trinity's excited about that transition. But, Dauber, what did you think? Did you see that Trinity moved over to defense?
I didn't catch that. But like you said, that's a good opportunity. Gets your athletic playmakers a chance to get on the field and make plays.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Trinity does on the defensive side of the ball. Let me go back up here. Let me get caught back up on Super Chats. Where are we at? Let's see here. Bear with me, guys. A lot of Super Chats coming in. We appreciate it. Here we are.
Two interesting moves while you're looking at that. Bell to line and then Marley to linebacker. I thought that was an interesting move because when I saw he moved, my first thought was safety with him. So I'm curious how big he is right now because I think he come in about 6'3", 190. So I'm curious kind of how much weight that he's gained in that time to be getting a look at linebacker. Maybe they're planning on beefing him up a little bit more. But I think it's I like the moves. And again, I'll say it not because John's on here as well, but you cannot teach 6'7", 270 or whatever that range is, whether you're running at tight end or whether you're running on that defensive line or whether it's end, whether he maybe even ends up at tackle down the line. I don't know on that. But that kind of an athlete at that size is very rare. That's you can't teach that.
All right, I found my Super Chats here. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Trinity play basketball too in high school?
I think that's where his injury came from, if I'm not mistaken.
You got a guy that's, like you said, with that size, 6'7", 260, 270, and athleticism, man. That big and that athletic. Like you said, talking about defensive tackle. Is he going to play defensive end or defensive tackle, but he has the athleticism to play tight end? Sky's the limit.
You know a name I had forgotten about that I saw mentioned this week, getting some reps. And come in as a middle linebacker, moved down to Bryson Eason. And they're talking about he's probably going to end up a tackle. He's going about 6'3", 290 right now. That's a guy I'd kind of forgotten about who'd flown under. But, he's got a bit of eligibility left as well. That's an interesting name and good to hear that he's kind of maybe showing out a little bit in practice as well. And this line's got some – I'm excited about this line and where they're going. And a lot of these guys have multiple years of eligibility left too is the cool thing about it.
And bringing in a ton of talent under Rodney Garner.
Yep. Three very excellent pickups. Well, including Joseph's, but the West and Pierce pickups today, excellent. And
Verse is still in the mix, man. That's another dude that is getting a ton of big-time offers, and he is an athletic specimen, man. Very, very, very well-spoken kid, too. If you guys haven't watched the interview that he did with VolQuest, go check it out. Very well-spoken kid. So I'm I feel good about that one too. Stephen Davis for 5. Thank you for the super chat. With the offense returning, we can expect the same productivity, but how do you feel about the development of the defensive secondary? We kind of talked about that over the last couple of minutes there. Any kid, you brought up Turnage. I'm excited about Turnage because as productive as Theo Jackson was, I feel like Turnage is just waiting to take over that star position. We saw the week that Theo Jackson was out. We saw Turnage step right in. SEC Defensive Player of the Week. I'm excited about Turnage. You got to find a way to replace Alontae Taylor. You need some help. You need some help in the secondary, Darby. Like you said earlier, the safety position, you need some help there. But, again, Christian Charles, you hope that he comes along. I thought we might see that this year. You mentioned the injury. So we'll see. We'll see. But we saw what this team can do with an offense that's going to go out and score points. They won 7 games when people were predicting 3 or 4. What happens in year 2? What happens in year 2?
I think talking about the secondary, I think there's a 1A, 1B in terms of where they need developed the most, and it's secondary and linebacker.
Oh,
I think those 2 positions are vital because when they got into these track meets, it was because basically safety and linebacker
collapses at those positions. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'll give Alontae Taylor credit. He was very solid this year.
It kind of goes into it goes into a question from the Facebook group from Ethan Kirkland. He said, after seeing everybody that committed today, what positions do the Vols need to address in the transfer portal or recruit before National Signing Day? It's got to be linebacker and safety. That's got to be your 2 top priorities, maybe an offensive tackle.
I think you've also got to consider wide receiver as well.
Yeah. I think you could add a wide receiver. I would add a running back, man. I would. Justin Williams gives you that big physical running back that you want, but he's a true freshman. I would look at running back. I would look to add a wide receiver. I would look for help on the offensive line, and then linebacker and safety. We saw this coaching staff have success in the transfer portal last year, so I would expect the same this year.
I'm kind of torn on running back. I mean, if you could get a Gibbs, who they're probably not getting, it looks like. I think Tank Bigsby announced he was going to stay at Auburn.
Yeah, he did.
If you could get a guy like that that's a game changer, I think so. But, man, they have a lot of running backs. Now, if you think about it, you got Small, you've got Jalen Wright, who really come on at the end of the year. Whitehead started to come on. He was kind of beat up a bit, and now you add Sampson, you add Justin Williams. I mean, the funny thing, the one everybody wanted to talk about last year, and I really feel Beckwith is an afterthought at running back. Yep. I think if he's going to play at Tennessee, it's going to have to be at another position. And I don't know, maybe he does develop and becomes a big part of that backfield, but I'm really kind of torn on that. I mean, if they can get one of those guys like you've made videos on, whether it's Gibbs or whether it's Bigsby or maybe someone else, similar to that, you got to do it because as we saw last year, they needed running backs. And, when somebody went out or multiple guys went out, they struggled a little bit with that. But, yeah, I'm kind of torn on it. It depends. If you can get that game changer, do it. Otherwise, I don't know.
Well, and I think I think this coaching staff has that option this year. I think they had the option to be selective, and I think that's why we've not really seen a whole lot of activity at this point because I think they are evaluating and trying to pick and choose. And going back to Mincy that was brought up earlier, that's why Mincy's a guy that we're all like, take him, and they're like, nope, we're going to evaluate everybody and then make decisions. So I think they can be selective. Xavier Sanders for $20. That is not cheap. That is not cheap at all. Xavier, we appreciate the super chat. I'm going to go ahead and say it deserves one of these.
To be the man, you got to beat the man. And I'm saying, woo, right here.
Thank you for the super chat. Xavier says Tennessee football is coming back strong, and it is time. Tired of being the laughing stock of the SEC. It's time to get back to the glory days. Also, I hope they bring out the black jerseys on Purdue. You guys think? I don't think they would do that again in a bowl game.
I don't know. Not since they broke them out already. Maybe not. I don't know.
Pretty sure they're going to be the road team.
Yeah, I think I saw that too. Yeah.
I think they're wearing
Oh,
whites.
so they'll be white.
Yep. Yep.
Man,
Jonathan
there's some
Ross.
sweet. Have you seen some of those sweet kind of art people have made for the white uniforms with kind of some of the trim and stuff on them? There's been I don't know where they would go with the white uniforms. You've got the stormtrooper ones, or you got the ones with the orange pants as well. But I wonder, there's some pretty sweet, and I'm sure you guys have seen them. Just different combinations out there, and I'd like to see them run with the white.
I wonder what the white would look like if you went back to the thick black outline on the number and then used the black face mask that they use
You
for
could
the
even
black
go
jerseys.
with the black pants with it. I mean,
Yeah.
you could.
Yeah. And if you did that, the helmets they use for the black jerseys would set off. Yeah.
That'd look awesome.
Jonathan Rice for 2. Thank you for the super chat. Says Squirrel White or Caleb Webb. Guess what, Jonathan?
Both.
How about both? They're going to complement each other because Squirrel White's going to play on the inside, Caleb White on the outside, man. And they're both speedsters. They're both speedsters. Am I caught up on super chats?
Just got one.
Not now.
Well, I saw, man, I'm so far behind. I saw John. John made a comment. He was just confirming, I think, that Trinity moved to the defensive line. All right, I'm almost caught up. Hold on. Philip Scout for 10. Thank you for the super chat. Boogie! Glad to see you aren't a cartoon character. Everything I see about these kids coming in tells me that coach has a personality type he's looking for, and that is how you build a program. You're right, Philip. We talked about it earlier. Josh Heupel talked about the importance of family and relationships, even in the day and age of NIL deals and money. He talked about relationships and family, culture, all that good stuff. So, yep. Guys, I think we have the guy. I think we have our coach.
I hope. I hope
goodness
so.
gracious.
I hope so. I mean, that was like you said earlier. That was the big question, recruiting, and if the way they finished is a sign of things to come, I think we're going to be pretty happy.
The vocal crowd that was negative and anti-Heupel has quietened a whole lot as the year has gone on.
They didn't quieten. They just joined the rest of us. That's what they did.
You're not hearing Disney Danny went and got his boy from Disney World down there.
Nope.
That's the best he could do. Yeah, you're not hearing that now.
They blended right into the crowd of those of us that are supporting. I think we're going to wrap this thing up, man. This was a fun one. And let me just let you guys know, next year, I'm making a promise. Next year, early signing day, we're all taking off of work, and we're going live all day long. We're going live all morning long, and we're going to pull up announcement videos and share those, and I think we'll have a good time, man. I think we dropped the ball today. I appreciate you guys supporting all the videos that went out, but we dropped the ball. We should have gone live early this morning. We could have even come back and done a second live stream tonight. Scott Shelton for $20. Indy Kid, what do I say when somebody drops a $20 super chat? What do I say?
Not for me to say. Play it.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man, and I'm saying, woo, right here.
Thank you, Scott, for the super chat. We appreciate it. But more coverage coming your guys' way. Indy Kid's going to be dropping some basketball content. They'll be going live Saturday immediately following the game. I've got a video I think I'm going to drop tomorrow. I'm not going to tell you what it is. It'll be good fun. Hope you guys will tune in, check it out. We appreciate the support. Good gosh. You guys are amazing. The support you showed us financially tonight, it's humbling. All I can say is thank you. I know these guys, I speak for all three of us when I say we appreciate it. Thank you guys so much.
I'm going to try to you mentioned about the basket. I'm going to try to do something previewing that Memphis game Saturday because they had a good bounce back last night. So I'm going to try to set something up for that maybe tomorrow night or Friday night, one of the two, but it'll be leading up to the game. So definitely we'll get that in as well.
So if you're one of the 500 people watching right now and you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Get subscribed. Get in where you fit in. If you hadn't hit that thumbs up, hit that thumbs up. Do it now. Do it before it's too late. It helps the channel. If you like the content, hit thumbs up. It's free. It takes 2 seconds. It helps the channel. Also, go check out the official merchandise of the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. We got these new TBA Jam shirts. If you are an old school gamer and you played NBA Jam and you heard he's on fire, we've got these TBA Jam Talkin VAWLS edition shirts. Go check them out. But if not, we've got the old school merch, the Talkin VAWLS State Pride, Retro Vols, all that good stuff. We got the flat bill hats. Get in where you fit in. Pick up the merchandise. It helps the channel. We would greatly appreciate it. But that is going to wrap it up for this one. It's been a good time. Enjoyed hanging out with you guys. Papa T's throwing money at me as I'm wrapping up the show. Papa T's my good friend, man. Always hanging out on Twitter. Papa T, I appreciate you, man. $10 super chat. Thank you, my friend. Says, Boogie, really excited about this staff and the haul we brought in today. Now it's time to hit the portal. Thank you, Boogie, Dauber, and Indy for all you do. Go Vols. And he's throwing out those custom Talkin VAWLS emojis. Papa T's one of the most, it's almost funny. Papa T had some stuff going on and he wasn't leaving. He comments on every single video. Every single video. He is the most optimistic, positive, energetic dude in our comment section. He had some stuff going on and he missed a few videos. Listeners of our show were commenting saying, where is Papa T? We miss Papa T. I'm missing his comments. So it's good to see you back in the chat, back on your feet. You're the man. We appreciate it.
He was one of the ones that nailed the win total for the year. I think along with Indy Kid. And I think you and I said 500 would be good.
Yeah, I was going with 6 wins. But Papa T, man, he is the most optimistic dude on the planet. Fun guy to interact with. It's crazy the people that you meet and you interact with through this show. It's absolutely fantastic. So let's wrap this thing up. We're going to get out of here. Tons of content coming your way. Make sure you guys subscribe. Don't miss out. He's Dauber. He's the Indy Kid. I'm the Enforcer, Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.
Bells on